Hi, I'm Owen Fitzpatrick, author of the book Charismatic Edge and creator of the online Charisma Training Academy. And welcome to this brand new interview series called the Dublin Interview Series. I'm very delighted to be joined by a very special guest. This week we're going to talk about NLP, and I'm going to ask him a number of questions about the field of NLP. So give a warm welcome wherever you are to the wonderful Mr. Owen Fitzpatrick. Owen, it's so lovely to meet you in person. Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be on with you. I obviously am a big fan of your work as well. You're very welcome. So to start off with, you're obviously ridiculously good looking. Could you, I suppose, tell us why? Really, why do you think you're so good looking? I mean, why do you think so many people are attracted to you? Mainly, I think you know, there's definitely a genetic component to my looks, and obviously, you know, I try to look after myself. You know, chiseled, good looks. You know, but yeah, again, that makes complete sense. Let's talk about NLP for a bit. What are your favorite parts of NLP? Out of everything, what are you most interested in the field? What do you think are the coolest parts? Well, to me, my favorite parts of NLP would be the language stuff. So it would be the meta model, the Milton model. So the meta model being a set of questions that you can use that allows you to specify information, clarify information, and helps you to change beliefs. The Milton model, a set of language patterns that helps you influence people more. I do like anchoring, of course, the ability to connect a particular feeling with a particular trigger or behavior of some sort. And I also kind of like things like the meta program, so your ability to read people and understand people more in terms of the natural patterns or the way in which they think. So for me, anything to do with language or anything to do with understanding people more, the communication aspect of NLP is certainly my favorite parts. Obviously, building the right kinds of states and feelings and, you know, having more internal control has done a massive amount for me, but I certainly think that if I was to pick anything, it would be the language aspect of NLP, definitely. Now, in the field itself of NLP, who were the people that influenced you most at the beginning of your career in particular? Let me see. Probably, obviously Richard Bandler is a huge mentor of mine. Obviously John Laval is a fantastic trainer, and Kathleen, his wife, definitely influenced me quite a lot. Also Robert Anton Wilson, I've seen speak at an event with Richard in 2000, Richard and John. Robert Anton Wilson and his books have been an incredible influence on me. Some of the assistants, trainers such as Anton Raps and David Northrop were also a great influence on me when I was learning NLP in the earlier years. Also Paul McKenna, great hypnotist. I learned a lot about hypnosis with regards to Paul. Michael Breen, I learned a good bit from. Eric Robbie, an amazing you know, mind that Eric has, and I learned a lot from him. So overall, there was a lot of great. Oh, and Frank Farrelly. Frank Farrelly was terrific. I saw Frank about, I don't know, more than 10 years ago, and I learned a massive amount about, you know, I know it was provocative therapy, but there was still a lot in alignment with what Frank was doing and what I naturally was doing as well, and learning from Frank some of his genius was terrific as well. So they'd be the kind of people that would definitely have had a big influence on me. So what suggestions for someone that's starting out right now, starting out today, wanting to learn NLP, what would be the best suggestions or advice that you would give them? It's important to do your research on the people that you're learning to study from, that you're looking to study from. You should be looking to see who have they been qualified by. Personally, I recommend people who have been licensed by Dr. Richard Bandler. That doesn't mean that they're going to be great. It just means that they've had a great opportunity to learn from a genius like Richard. What I would say is, as well as making sure that they're from a good pedigree, is that you know, if possible, watch some videos on the internet or read some of their writings or on their blog. Try to find out whether or not the way in which they communicate is something that you feel good about, that you get a good connection with them. Use your gut if your gut is good. And also, if you hear anything about them, try to find out from past students, if you can, about, you know, what the trainer is like. Ask questions about the training if you need to, but primarily it's about your feeling around that particular trainer. The other thing I'd say is look to learn from a number of different people. to me, if you really want to master NLP as opposed to just learn it, it's a good idea to learn from a number of different trainers. So do a course here, a course there with different trainers. It's certainly what I did, and I feel that it really helped me quite a lot. So I think if you keep those things in mind, that will help you make the best decision possible, and it will allow you to start learning NLP in the most effective way. Now, I believe you've got a new book out. Memories is a book that I wrote with Dr. Richard Bandler. It's one of my favorite books. It's a sequel to the book Conversations with Richard that I wrote a few years ago. And in Memories, we talk about Richard's influences and my influences, the influences that led Richard to create or co-create the field of NLP almost 40 years ago. And we talk about the different things that led him to come up with the great ideas he came up with. Also, we talk about how to deal with the challenges that people face, especially in the modern crises we've been facing in terms of the economic crisis, etc. We talk about love, parenting, spirituality, so many different topics, a little bit like Conversations. It's a very personal book, lots of photos in there. We're both very excited about the book, and it's something which, again, I'm really excited to see what people have to say. So, you know, Memories, hope is the question. Great. Well, I wish you the very best of luck with this amazing book. Again, thank you very much. If you want to get your hands out on this book, make sure you visit www.owenfitzpatrick.com. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to, you know, spend it with us today. Really hope that you got a lot of value from this interview series, this Dublin Interview Series, the very first episode, all about NLP, and I'm sure you found Owen's answers as fascinating as I did. Thank you again to Owen, and to you, may I say, thanks very much. See you again.